And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
So in the featured prelim, we have Brad Phone Booth Katona
You're welcome again, by the way.
going
Brad.
against the American Garrett Armfield. No nickname, no need, I guess. And we're
Army.
betting Army Armfield. Hey, I like it. we're betting, right? We're counting on Brad wanting to put on a show for his fellow Canadians in Toronto. He also hasn't shown a propensity to go for takedowns, and these guys are just going to throw. And if it's anything like his last fight, it's going to go way over the significant strikes, but also we just don't think he's going to do takedowns. So we're going under on the 1.5, put it in the bank, 1-for-1 on this 6 pick.
Yep.
We
Less
like
than
it.
1.5. Beautiful. I'll get our second one here, which is Movsar Evloev and Arnold Allen. We think this is going to be an interchanging slugfest grappling expose. We feel like Movsar maybe won't be able to get all those takedowns because these guys are so effective in their defense. We don't like the fantasy score because of how close these guys' stats are, so we're just staying away from that. And we just think they're going to throw. These are two wrestlers who are going to respect each other's wrestling and therefore go out and try and put on a nice flurry of fists for the crowd. And we are going over 65.5 significant strikes.
Yeah, they're gonna do punching.
Yes, they're going to do
Speaking of doing
punching.
Chris Curtis, the Action Man, and Marc-Andre Barrios, MAB, Barrio, are going to punch each other also. And Chris Curtis is gonna land more than 61.5 significant strikes.
Preach it.
Yeah, this would put us in the 4 spot. We have Neil Magny, the ageless one, who is turning 37 here in a couple of weeks, folks. Taking on the up and coming Canadian prospect, the next great Canadian hope from the Great White North, Mike Malott. And we think this is a real test for Mike. And as
Yes.
such, and with the gameness of one Neil Magny, that we're going into the third round for sure on this one. We're not exactly sure how this was going to end, but it's definitely the biggest step up in competition for Mike Malott. As such, with all due respect to Neil Magny, the eternal gatekeeper, this is going to go into at least the third round.
Yes. And then in the
In one that we're going to pick and move on.
Myra Benasilva is going to win the belt, and she's going to do it with a fantasy score that is higher than 95.5. Woohoo, let's move on.
That's a volume thing. And then Sean Strickland and Drickless Duplessis are going to get, let's say it, they're going to get to the championship rounds, which means we get more than 12 fight minutes.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? They may not even get there. This might end in the third round, and it could
Okay.
be either one of them. And we still think it's going to get there.
Okay.
Over 12 minutes. Lock it in and make your 6 pick. If you want to review these, they will be on our Instagram at the
It's
Pretty Neat
played.
Podcast.
I played it.
It is played. We do play these. We hope you play them as well, especially if we win. And because that means we all win, and that's what we all really want on the Pretty Neat Podcast, is for everyone's 2024 and beyond to be wonderful and filled with riches.
Riches.
So all the riches.
All of these riches.
All of these wonderful things that we have said tonight, gentlemen, has left me in a state of euphoria, as it always
Ooh.
does. Hanging out with my boys every week is the highlight of my week. And what should we take it out on for this episode?
Something to do with being sore because my whole body is.
How was your reading my mind? As
Yeah.
Stretch your hamstrings.
Ooh,
Good preventative stretching 2024.
I love it.
I like it. I like it as well.
Yeah, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also